This time on the Garage Area, we're looking at the conclusion of the Enjoy Illinois 300 at Gateway, the conclusion of the Cup Series race where we saw Austin Cindric take home his second career win, his first of the season, and he's going to end up in the playoffs this year with that win. I don't know, Kevin Harvick talked about maybe that's going to put to bed some of these rumors that he might be replaced in the 2-car. I don't know that I would say that for sure, but I do think that this certainly helps Cindric's case in staying in that 2-car. Personally.
Yeah, I mean, as well as Penske ran today itself, that maybe if the team as a whole runs better, maybe his performance will be up too. So.
Very possible. All 3 cars ran 1, 2, 3 for a good stretch of the race today. Austin Cindric led 53 laps. We saw Christopher Bell out front for the majority of the race for 80 laps. Michael McDowell also out in front for 40 laps. Kind of a wild ending to the race. It flipped on its ear not once but twice.
Yeah.
Christopher Bell by far the fastest race car, and there was a situation at the end of the race where it was going to be some green flag pit stops, and however you cycled through, and Bell was making up a lot of time on the racetrack prior to the pit stops. Clearly had the fastest car, and Blaney was going to come out of pit road with a lead, and he did. And Bell was running him down, and he was going to pass him. There was maybe 18 to go? Or was there more than that? 20 to go?
I want to say around the 20 to go mark.
Okay. Around the 20 to go mark, that Christopher Bell, he passed Ryan Blaney at one point. Blaney put the crossover back on him. Passing was a premium today. You didn't see a whole lot of it. Anyways, when Blaney passed Bell back, you see Bell kind of stumble back a little bit. And all of a sudden, he started slowing down a lot and came on the radio and said that he was blowing up. Not 100% sure what the issue was in his car, clearly a motor issue. You saw Martin Truex Jr., who was laps down from a cut tire earlier in the race, trying to push him around the racetrack and make up some time that way to keep him in the top 10. And Bell did ultimately finish 7th in the race. Really good considering that he had some serious motor issues. In that situation there. He was certainly disappointed because, as he said, you don't have race cars like he had today very often, and you need to capitalize on it when you do. Unfortunately, the longevity of the motor just didn't allow it to get him all the way to the win. But you were right being on the Christopher Bell train. I didn't think that he was necessarily going to maintain the momentum, and you thought that he would be somebody that was going to have a strong week back-to-back. Looked really good today. And
yeah. I think he always had fast cars, but I think he just kind of got caught up in things here and there that made it look like he was worse than what he was. So
yeah, but he was doing all the right things today, and just something very rare for JGR and Toyota, a motor failure of some sort there that led to his 7th place finish. Still a good run. Really can't be upset about that at the end of the day, unless you had the race-winning car, I guess. Other guys that were fast, the second time that race flipped on its ear was Ryan Blaney. Was leading the race after Christopher Bell's issue, and he was going to basically bring it all the way home for the win.
Yeah.
And coming to the white flag, ran out of fuel, and did not seem like that should have even been a concern for him.
No.
Everyone was very surprised on the broadcast, us watching, that he was running out of fuel, and he ended up finishing, I believe, 24th, and last car in the lead lap, barely coasted across the start-finish line. Just a real heartbreaker of a situation for him. I don't know what's worse there, the heartbreak for Christopher Bell or Ryan Blaney, because Bell had the fastest car to win the race, and a little ways away from the finish, he saw that go up in smoke. Ryan Blaney saw the white flag and ran out of fuel, something that just should not have happened. Very preventable mistake, and just, I don't know. I feel like Blaney's got to be the guy that's more heartbroken over the situation than Bell.
I would say so.
He was going to catch a break with Bell's issue because Bell was going to pass him eventually, but looked like he was going to hang on for the win and just didn't end up making it. Came up a little bit short on fuel. Inherited the lead to Austin Cindric, who was able to take it one more time around to the checkered flag and get the win. Some other guys that we should talk about. Michael McDowell. He qualified on the pole, as we said, led 40 laps. Had a day that looked like he was going to be a factor at one point, at least early on in the race.
Once he got in traffic, he just couldn't run.
He started to fall back through the field, and as we said, passing was a premium today. This race gets a big thumbs down from me in the ability to race department there, and certainly am going to be voting no in Jeff Gluck's poll tomorrow. McDowell ended up finishing 25th, the first car 1 lap down, so he was definitely struggling on the day. I don't really know what else to say about this race. Cody Ware made an appearance, making sure that he caused a caution in this event, the very first one.
He was involved in 2 cautions.
Yeah, these are the first 2 cautions. I did call Reaction Theater to let him know how impressed I was with Cody Ware. I almost called back when he was involved in the second one. Other than that, we only had the stage cautions. Well, that's not true. We did have Josh Berry's issue with the tire going down.
Yeah.
The left front tire, he pounded the wall. I don't know for sure. Did we determine if that was an exploded brake rotor or not?
Last I heard, it was just tire.
Okay.
So.
I know that was a concern. I believe this is where the concern started last year, was at Gateway with rotors exploding.
Yeah.
And that was kind of some speculation that could have been the issue, but it seems that a tire is just credited with the issue for the 4-car. Lost the left front, pounded the fence in turn 3, I believe it was.
Yeah. And we also had Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson.
Yeah, that's true.
That one pretty much ended stage 2, so.
I'm not sure what the whole deal was in that situation. It did seem like that, well, they're both Kyle, but it seemed like Busch was squeezing Larson down off the wall, coming down the front stretch a little bit.
Yeah.
And they did make some contact before they ever got to the turn, and then Larson just kind of got loose and knocked into the 8 and ended the 8's day. And it was unfortunate because he was actually running near the front at one point of this race, and he ends up finishing 35th out of 36 cars, Josh Berry being the 36th place finisher. I don't know. That was kind of a weird incident. I'm not sure where Larson went on to finish.
I think he got near 11th, 10th.
10th. So, yeah, he definitely overcame the issues that he had just with the spin. I don't know how much damage he had from that, but Kyle Busch certainly had a lot of damage.
The only one I saw at one point, he had a scratch on the rear bumper because he backed into the wall. But must not have backed into the wall enough to destroy anything. I'll go with that. Couldn't think of the word I'm looking for.
Right.
But yeah.
Other notable guys, Denny Hamlin finished second in the race. That mainly through attrition of guys falling out, but still had a fast car today. Don't know that he had a race winning car by any means. Brad Keselowski was up there at points. He finished third. Tyler Reddick was fourth. I didn't notice him until the very end. My pick to win the race, Joey Logano, finished fifth. Was running third often, ended up in fifth, and that was through some attrition as well. Austin Dillon with a great day, finishing sixth. Both RCR cars looked fast at one point. Bell seventh. Carson Hocevar, another guy that had a great run today. And I believe this is where he made his Cup Series debut, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And that was in the 7 for Corey LaJoie because he was filling in for Chase Elliott. Okay. So Hocevar ends up in 8th position. Justin Haley in 9th. Great runs for those guys. Who was your pick this week?
Hamlin.
Okay, so you ended up second with that pick. That two cars finished really well this week. You end up getting the win and the point this week. And our picks with Denny Hamlin finishing second and Joey Logano finishing fifth, my pick. Anything else that we really need to talk about from this race? Because I don't know that there was not a whole lot of anything exciting happening. You could see some things starting to develop a little bit, but passing was just very difficult. Yeah. The 20 was the only car I saw going around anybody else.
Yeah,
he seemed to be the only guy that was passing cars with any kind of consistency.
Yeah.
Even Rajah Caruth, he was on the broadcast for a moment, and he said that wherever you come out of pit road is pretty much where you run. That was his observation as well. So that certainly seemed to be the case. Is wherever you came off pit road, that's wherever that you cycled out on the restart is where you were going to end up. Let's go ahead and talk about the bracket challenge. It's not been updated yet because, the race just ended a little bit ago, and I don't know exactly how the logistics for that work. But let's kind of go through this first round here. Denny Hamlin, Justin Haley. We know that Denny Hamlin won that matchup.
Yeah.
You had Denny Hamlin, correct?
Yeah, it was a lot closer than I thought with Haley finishing the top 10. So
yeah, that's right.
It was nearly an upset.
Joey Logano and Chase Briscoe. Who did you have?
I had Logano.
And let me see. Do we know where Chase Briscoe finished?
Behind Logano. That's
yes. I was just curious.
17th.
17th. Okay. So no threat there to challenge Logano for that position. Brad Keselowski and Carson Hocevar. Carson did make it closer than we thought that he would. Brad Keselowski was the winner in that situation. I'm assuming that's who you had as well.
Yeah.
Here's one that I didn't see coming,
No.
and I'm sure you didn't either. Alex Bowman, John Hunter Nemechek. Where did JHN finish?
27th.
And where did Alex Bowman finish?
28th.
Yeah, it's because he's a hack. And that's why he ended up where he's at. Really didn't hear a whole lot about Bowman today. I'm not sure what his issue was or what kind of struggles he faced, but certainly one position behind the 42 car. So that's going to mess up my bracket, at least for the next round, but I had Keselowski over him in the next round anyway. Chase Elliott and Daniel Hemrick. Where did Hemrick finish? I'm looking.
18th.
Okay, and Elliott finished?
13th.
Oh, narrow escape there.
Yeah.
So Chase Elliott does end up moving on to the next round. Bubba Wallace matched up against Austin Cindric. This was obviously an upset situation here, and Austin Cindric, by winning the race, is able to move on to the next round. I had Chase Elliott over Bubba Wallace in the next round anyways, but I still selected him over Cindric this week.
Yeah, you convinced me of that one, so that's your
Yeah,
fault.
you keep giving me credit for that, and as far as I know, you made your own pick, so I got video to prove it. Ryan Blaney and Noah Gragson. This one was unfortunate for Blaney just because of the fact that he ran out of fuel. He ended up finishing 24th, last car in the lead lap, as I said. Noah Gragson finished 22nd. So Noah Gragson is going to actually beat out Ryan Blaney in this round. I did have Byron over him in the next round anyways.
Yeah, same.
So that's not going to hurt me too bad unless you see Noah Gragson really take it to William Byron next week. And another one. We got several of these in this first round bracket. Martin Truex Jr. and Austin Dillon. Truex cut a tire and ended up finishing a couple laps down. I don't know where he was on the racetrack. I'll see if I can find that real quick. He was 34th, so he was just ahead of the two cars that were out. Last running vehicle on the racetrack. And Austin Dillon had basically a career day, finishing 6th in this one. So I had Truex into the next round, obviously, and I also had him over Buescher. So that this Martin Truex Jr. Not making the next round is going to hurt me a little bit.
I picked Chris Buescher over Truex,
so you'll at least be okay in that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, Austin Dillon ends up knocking out Truex in that one. Chris Buescher and Daniel Suarez is next. I'm not sure where Buescher finished.
Suarez is 23rd.
Yeah, he's easy to pick out on Racing Reference because he's got the Mexican flag. Chris Buescher.
14th.
Okay, so he does end up getting by him there. And Buescher is going to move on to the next round. And obviously you need him to keep going. I had him in the next round, but I had Truex over him, so that's not going to help me any. Ross Chastain and Michael McDowell. I thought with McDowell starting up front that this was going to be a good situation for him and that he was going to not have any problem with Ross Chastain, but obviously that didn't pan out too well. I think McDowell finished 25th, and Ross Chastain finished just outside the top 10 and 12th.
Yeah.
So Ross Chastain is going to move on in the next round. That's going to hurt my bracket. Did you have Chastain?
Yeah.
So you're going to be fine there.
No. I had McDowell.
Oh, you did have McDowell?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah, I had McDowell above Ty Gibbs in the next round. So.
Oh, okay. So you're really hurting.
Yeah.
Good. I'm going to let me catch up a little bit. All right. Ty Gibbs and Eric Jones. I had Ty Gibbs.
Same.
And he ended up finishing 11th. Eric Jones. I'm looking. Oh, he finished 26th. Okay, so we're safe on that one. This is kind of live grading on this video here, but how it's going to pan out. Kyle Larson and Corey LaJoie. Kyle Larson, as we said, finished 10th. Corey LaJoie, I don't know where he ended up.
I believe he was a lap down. That's all 32nd.
Okay, so not a good day for him. And so Larson is going to go ahead and advance, even with that spin that he went through there. I had Kyle Busch over Josh Berry.
Yeah.
And Kyle Busch finished one spot ahead of Josh Berry because Berry crashed before Kyle Busch crashed. So Kyle is going to move on to the next round and face the other Kyle Larson. And they already tangled once, so it's going to be interesting to see how they go about it next week at Sonoma. Christopher Bell and Todd Gilliland. Christopher Bell is going to get the nod on this one with that just great 7th place finish, pushing through the attrition there. Todd Gilliland, let me see. Don't see him.
16th.
16th, okay. So actually, that was a little closer than it probably should have been. Although I didn't necessarily think that Todd would run bad. And then the last matchup in this round, Tyler Reddick versus Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Stenhouse finishes 20th, and Tyler Reddick ends up with a fourth place finish, and I had Reddick, so I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
So, going into the next round, now that we explained them all, I can't remember what they all were. I know for sure there's going to be Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski and John Hunter Nemechek, Chase Elliott and Austin Cindric, and it's going to be Noah Gragson against William Byron. It's going to be Austin Dillon against Chris Buescher, and it's going to be Ross Chastain against Ty Gibbs, and
Larson and Kyle Busch,
and Bell and Reddick.
Yeah.
So actually, we didn't do as bad as I thought.
No, I think there's only like a couple that
There's 2 of them that looks like I'm going to hurt a little bit in, but we'll see how that goes after we get through Sonoma. Anyways, it doesn't really change how I feel about Sonoma, even with the upsets, or at least the guys that I thought were going to advance not advancing. I think most of the ones that I got there, I didn't have them going beyond the next round at Sonoma anyway, so shouldn't be hurt too bad. I know McDowell's going to hurt you a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess Truex is going to hurt me some too.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that ends up going. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to the matchups in Sonoma. Can't wait to see how that all shakes out as well. What about you? You got anything else that you want to talk about from this?
The only other thing maybe is Corey Heim won the truck race. I don't think we went over
Yeah,
that.
no, we didn't go over that. Yeah, go ahead.
So that's all the more I really know about that race. So.
Yeah, Corey Heim did win the truck race. I know that he kept it out front for a lot of the race. Don't have a whole lot of details on it. I actually didn't watch it because it was delayed due to weather, and then we were watching the end of the Xfinity race here, where we saw SVG end up getting the win. A little bit of controversy there with him and Sam Mayer on the opening laps of the race, shoving Mayer around to get around him, and ends up getting back to the lead. Allgaier looked like he was going to have a car that was going to dominate the day, but in typical Justin Allgaier fashion, ends up not winning and throwing that race away for somebody else to win. And that's just kind of the way it goes for him. And you hate to see it because he is one of those guys that I feel like pretty much everybody enjoys just racing around and watching Justin Allgaier race.
I believe he's won the last 6 stages.
Of stage 1 or 2.
Yeah. Plus he had to win at Darlington, so he's been on a run.
Yeah, he's run up front, but finishing off races is just not his thing lately. Really his whole career. And seasons if you want to talk about Phoenix too.
Yeah.
But regardless, I thought that the Xfinity race was actually a pretty good race. Enjoyed that one. SVG getting the win. I think that's good for the sport.
Yeah.
Like seeing that. Like seeing him whenever he gets out of a race car. And that Aussie accent that he throws in there too. Enjoy that. Anything else that we wanted to talk about this week?
That's all I got.
That's all I got too. I appreciate everybody that's watching, everybody that's listening on the variety of podcast platforms that we're on now and watching on YouTube. Hopefully you'll be able to stick with us and come back here after Sonoma to see just how bad our bracket is after that one as well.